What's up, buddy? How you doing? Well, welcome back to SNG. If you've already subscribed, we appreciate it. If you haven't, consider it. We have a bunch of fun. We appreciate everybody's comments. I was going to start to grind on this frame of this 61 Panhead and try to get our crash bar on the front. We need to mount a bracket. So we'll start that. And here's something maybe most of you probably know, those who don't. This is a tank for a 61, let's see, 59, 60, 61, 62. So 61, 62, Harley Davidson. This is the tank badge for the 61, 62. And one of the ways that you can tell if you have a period correct tank or if it might be a repop tank, there's a lot of good videos on this. Bruce Palmer's book is also a great, that's the Bible as far as restoring stuff and knowing you have the right stuff. But just something cool. When you look at this tank, and I don't know, watch out there, honey. I don't know if you can see this, but when you look at that tank, you're going to notice that there is an indentation where this tank badge actually sets in that indentation. And when you see one that's that isn't, that it, sets on the round part, it's a repop tank. So that's one way, and you can get into, gosh, these are not the original caps here, but at least I don't think they are. I'll have to do some research, but anyhow, there you go. That's something just decided I'd talk about since it was laying here. So I'm gonna get set up to get on this crash bar. We'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this tank mount, okay, comes around, bends around, you can see it wrapping around here, and it's welded on here. Then they laid a bar across here and drilled a hole in it, and that's where the screw goes in to hold the top of the crash bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock this weld off, and I'm going to knock this weld off, and once I get that off, I will try to bevel down in, and I'll bevel my actual piece that I cut. I'll cut a piece to fit in there, and I'll bevel that. So it'll give a place for a nice bead that we can weld that up. So I'm gonna get started on that, and we'll see what happens. Well, get you where you can see that. So if you take, if you just, hasn't been too long, probably only been about 15, maybe 20 minutes since I started that, give or take. You can get things looking halfway decent. So that's going to be that bracket. I've got it beveled at 45, about a 45-degree angle on both ends. And I'm going to go over and fit it on the bike, see if it'll be ready to weld. All right, so I'm going to set this in here. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll grind back in and we'll tack it too. And I'll get that at the same angle as this frame. Which, you know, it's not bad right here. It's sticking out a little farther on this side, so I'm going to have to take some of that off. And I'll work that until I get it to lay flat as I can. And then what I'll do is I will take my bar and I'll bolt it in down here to where it's on. And I will take this and I will have that in there to where I want it, and I'll lay that up against it on our mark. I'll mark a hole where that's going to be, and I will then drill a hole through this. I'm going to tack a nut on the back side to where I can then just take a bolt and go through here and right in and be able to easily take it off, bolt it back on. That's the scoop. We'll be back when we get a little further. All right, so I punched that to center punch where I wanted my hole. I drilled a pilot hole. The parts book is calling for a 5/16 24 bolt. So I'm gonna go one drill bit size above 5/16, which is gonna be 21/64, and we should be good to go. That will keep that from twisting out of my hand. All right, one more drill bit, we've got her made. All right, I just finished my 21/64 bit, and I'll so that is, I have my bracket now, it's finished. There it is. So I will be able to weld that. The weld will fill in where these 45s are cut back, and we'll grind that off and throw a little bit of paint on it, and we'll be good to go. Stick a bolt through, and then I can get the tanks on. So we're back on the 61 Panhead safety bar, crash bar, whatever you want to call it. My welder finally showed up. Been waiting.
He's getting old. Getting old and slow, but I finally showed up. We got the welder. We got to hook her up here, get the gas hooked up.
Nice. What kind of little machine you got there, Joe?
This is a Hobart.
A Hobart?
They're just a 110 machine, but boy, they sure do weld nice, and they're simple. They're simple machines. I think down there, if you look at it, all you have is on-off, voltage, which is your heat, and wire speed. That's it.
On-off. Yep. Wire feed up top. Power voltage on the bottom.
Yep. So they're pretty simple machines.
And old Zeus to the left.
Zeus to the left, he's wondering, now what are you guys doing? What's nice about these machines, you plug them into 110. That's all you need.
Right, right. Well, here's what I've got set up. I have this, oops. I have the safety bar kind of got a couple bolts through to where it's setting where it's going to be setting. And I've got it clamped there. You can see the piece that I made earlier. I have a bolt on it, and he is going to, let me get in here a little bit. He is going to get in there and he's going to fill in that 45 right there, that gap and that gap on the left. And we ought to be in pretty good shape. So
we did unhook the battery just to be, I don't like pushing electricity through anything. You never know. I told you, I said, I've only ever had one issue with a computer welding on a car, and it burnt the computer up just feeding power through it. So it's a good idea just to unhook your battery.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it.
That way you don't have to worry about it.
All right, so we've got the battery unhooked, and we'll get him set up, and we'll get your goggles ready, your welding hoods, and we'll be back in a second. So Jones says He's just gonna tack that up real. Where are you gonna tack?
I'm gonna tack it there, down there, do that and that, and then I'm gonna come in and fill her up.
And then we'll take that bar off before you fill it in.
Yeah, it'd be easier to get in there and weld.
Nice.
Alright, she ain't going nowhere. So I say we take, it'd be easier for me to weld if we take this off here and then boil, burn her in there good, and then we'll grind her down.
You got it.
I don't, everybody's different. I don't like the welders that are flux core wire. This has regular wire in it. Regular welding wire. It's cheaper not to buy the bottle and the gauge and everything. The flux core wire has the flux on it, and it welds, to me it welds like a stick welder. MIG welders, I like MIG welders because the argon, it's a mix, it's a 75-25 mix that comes through here, and it's a shielding gas that shields it, and you get a nice weld with it. So I get it, some guys don't want to go through the expense of the bottle and everything. The wire's not that expensive, but boy, you get a lot nicer weld, I think, with this type of setup here.
Good deal. Good deal.
We'll take that bar off and we'll get back at it.
All right. All right, so you can see he's tacked on there, and he's going to finish up the welding, and
We'll have at it here.
beautiful, Jones.
That's not too, man, I'm shocked at how nice that weld looks. I'm not a professional welder. If I can weld with one of these, anybody can, trust me. Trust me. Clean metal is the key to this here. You gotta have clean metal.
Let's see what we got here. Oh my, that's professional.
I think it's going to stay there and it's never coming off. It didn't leave a lot of chicken poop.
Oh, there you go. All right, talk to me again.
It's a nice weld. Sometimes I call it chicken poop weld, where you get a lot of porosity, meaning spitting and popping. If you have your heat set it right for penetration and your wire speed, if you don't have enough wire speed, it'll if you have too much wire speed coming out, it can't burn all the wire off and it's going to just spit and pop. So my suggestion to you is to try and weld on something before you start welding on what you're going to weld. So I know this welder, and I know this thickness, I know the wire speed and the voltage I want.
So if you didn't, you want to try it on something that same thickness.
Practice first.
Lay a bead or two and go from there.
So.
Cool. Well, I'm tickled. I don't think that baby's going anywhere. And if I lay this thing down and rip that thing off, then I've got more things to worry about.
You got bigger problems.
Got some bigger problems than that.
We'll take and clean that up a little bit.
Sure looks nice. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Another project down.
Another project down.
What else can we weld up? You want me to weld these holes up on this fender
Sure,
for you?
might as well. Might as well. We'll take a grinder to
We
it.
gotta decide what we're gonna do up
I
there.
need to figure out. I know what was on here. I know that they had an Indian head that was on the old Indians.
Yep.
That they put on this that set and covered up all of these holes. And then these two holes are outside, and I was thinking, what in the world is that? And that's where I started to think, well, is this hole and this hole, did that happen to be was it a police bike, and did they have a siren setting on top of it? But I don't know the pattern of holes. So if anybody has an idea of what they think was there, I know that this hole, and this hole here all match
Your gasket.
the gasket that was for the Indian head. I got it buried up there somewhere, but anyhow. All right, well, we'll bolt that back on, but thanks for watching. Smack that monkey, step on that butterfly. Have a good evening. Another good video. You got anything to say? Words of wisdom?
Nothing tonight. I'm all wised out today. It's been a long week.
There you go. If you ride them, wrench them, but only if you want to. See you.
Have a good one.